to use your metaphor, their love tank is empty, and they start to intentionally do these things, how quickly can things turn around? Is it a really long process, or can it happen quite quickly if you start effectively using these love languages?
If both of them read the book, get the concept, understand the value of it, and they both begin to speak each other's language, which is ideal, of course, it can be a pretty quick turnaround. In fact, I've had many, many people say to me at marriage conferences that I've been leading, they'll come up and say, Gary, we just want to share with you that book saved our marriage. 15 years ago, we were at the point of divorce, and we just felt like we were so different, and we just felt like it wouldn't work. And we read that book, and the lights came on, and we realized how we'd been missing each other emotionally. And we took the quiz, and we started speaking each other's language. It literally changed and saved their marriage. So it can turn around rather quickly. Now, however, if one of you is not willing to read the book, doesn't want to hear anything about love languages, and consequently you're not feeling love from them, and you try to ask them. I usually say to wives, don't ever ask your husband to read the book. Ask him if he'll read the first chapter.
Yeah.
If he reads the first chapter, then you can. What do you think about that first chapter? Chances are, she said, "Well, how about would you want to read chapter 2?" Chances are he will. But at any rate, if he's not interested or she's not interested, for example, many times just one of them comes for counseling, the other won't come for counseling. And the challenge I give them is, would you be willing to try an experiment with me? You don't even have to discuss the love language with your spouse. But if you and I can sit here and figure out what their primary love language is, would you be willing to try to speak that love language at least once a week for 6 months? And let's just see what happens. And if they're willing, but I said, you don't even have to want to. They kind of lost the want to. I said, but I'll meet with you every 3 weeks and we just see what can happen over and over again before the 6 months is over. And sometimes it's 3 or 4 months into it. The other person begins to respond in a positive way and say things like, I don't know what's going on with you, but you've been awfully kind to me lately. Well, what's going on? And then you can say, well, I've been reading a book, or I went for counseling, and I'm learning how to love you in a way that's meaningful to you. I've always loved you, but I know I haven't always communicated it well. And I've just been trying to communicate how much I love you. Wow. They begin to melt, and they say, well, maybe I need to read that book, or maybe you can share with me what you're talking about, or, look, I don't deserve the way you're treating me, but I love it, and I'd like to reciprocate. So we can't make our spouse change. I mean, everybody agree, you can't make somebody change, but we can influence our spouse. And we either have a negative influence or a positive influence. And just by nature, if we're not feeling loved by them, we'll have a negative influence on them because we'll complain or we'll, uh, say all kind of mean things to them. But if you love them unconditionally, whether they're loving you or not, love stimulates love. And when you're speaking their love language, something begins to happen inside of them, and they're drawn to you. And then chances are they'll begin in time to learn what's going on and how they can express love to you. So, and if it doesn't happen in 6 months, at least you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I did the most powerful thing I can do to try to communicate love to them. Apparently, they don't care anything about our marriage, and you can tell them that, So, yeah, it's worth the experiment.